We're live.
All right, Wayner. Another beautiful day. We missed last week due to some family commitments and such, but we're back. And
Yep.
let me please start off the show by saying Happy Bastille Day.
And what would that be about?
It happened in Bastille.
Okay, where's that? France?
I think it's France.
Okay.
And the people there just got really feeling good about themselves, and they just remembered it as Happy Bastille Day.
Really?
I think they raided the prison or something and freed a lot of prisoners. Kind of
Really?
like Cuomo here. No, it was the French Revolution.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know where you get this shit, but...
Comes to me.
All right, now we're going to talk a little Sabres here because big move today. They asked Jeff Skinner
Yep.
to waive his non-movement clause, and he agreed so that he can be put on the list that the Kraken will have a shot at. That gives another spot to one of the kids they were worried about losing.
Well, we wouldn't lose
Asplund or
Bjork, and that's a huge loss there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kidding, but to me, whatever.
Well, it's just I know that you like Skinner and I like him too, but I think at this point, let's just think about what this means and without our emotions, right? So the first thing it could mean is the thing I just said, which is we got him out there now, and that leaves us to protect one more person. Okay. The second thing it could be is they've already talked to the Mine Kraken and said,
which would be breaking rules because there's a no-speak period before the quilting bee.
Before the quilting bee, yeah. So where they have a little gentleman's agreement on the phone that says, you take Jeff Skinner and we'll give you X. I'm going to make this up. Ryan Johnson, our prospect.
Oh.
Okay, no, that'd be terrible. And maybe we would even give, take some of Skinner's contract. Now, to me, they got to stop that. That's what made the Las Vegas Golden Knights so freaking good. All these side deals. I still remember. There's a flag over me. I still remember when Florida said, "Don't take X guy who's not even on the roster anymore," and they gave up Marcia Show and Riley Smith. And automatically now you've got 2/3 of a top line, just not to touch somebody who's not even there anymore. So I hope these GMs learn that it's kind of crazy.
I'm hoping that Skinner said he'd do it to protect another young forward, and not because of a handshake. I don't think it's a trade to another team.
Right. I agree.
He likes playing where he is. He likes being close to home, which is Toronto. I don't see the Kraken taking him unless it's part of a bigger package with maybe a Sam going there too.
Yeah.
But
well, then I don't think they take on $9 million just off the bat without some kind of help from the Sabres, be it a player or money. And you're right, I don't want that.
Well, and maybe what I've read, their ownership wants to be successful very soon. And is there a trade down the road? But don't give him a Ryan Johnson to take him and then take on salary. You want to fill seats. That's not how you're going to fill seats downtown.
No, you're not. And I agree with that. I made up Ryan Johnson, but your point is taken.
No, but that name was thrown around.
It could be somebody. And, the
bitching that Skinner would get from fans that we lost Asplund because you wouldn't do that. I'm sure that's probably what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy, and
he really is, and he's still got game left in him. Don't pay any attention to what that fraud did with him. This guy can score goals. He always has. Is it 40 again? Who knows? But and everybody's quick to say $9 million. That's what they get in this set in stone league. Yeah. These guys get these contracts, then they get the no trade movement, and you're stuck with them. Suter, I'm getting off on a
no
tangent.
Trade and guaranteed contract.
Suter and Parisi were just bought out by Minnesota, and they're both caught off guard. How the hell are you caught off guard?
Off guard. By the way, 4 years left for both of them. Turns into 8 years of a buyout. I mean, these guys are going to be 106 with great-grandchildren getting paid. And I'll tell you what, Batman, I know you're not listening, but if you were, you've screwed up that league with guaranteed contracts. And you guys should take a whole year on a lockout and fix that.
The guaranteed have to go or the no trade. You're locked with these things like balls and chains.
Balls and chains.
And guys start getting older and stuff. And it's a young man's league. I'm sorry. It's a young man's league.
He's 36. Come on. And he has 4 more years of just... Of course, you can blame Minnesota paid him. I know that, and you could say what a stupid move, but at the time, they're trying to win a Stanley Cup.
Right.
They got 2 great guys that were free agents. Tom and I have talked about this before. Not a big free agent guy.
No.
Not at all.
No.
They end up, they're too old to start. They get too big of contracts because you're in a bidding war. I don't like free agency, and even if the Sabres end up with a lot of cap because of trade of Eichel or whatever they do, or Skinner leaving, do not just start giving out contracts on these old bastards.
And what I can't understand in this league, what makes the most sense, and nobody uses it, is sign a guy to an offer sheet.
The offer sheet. They never do it.
They're all afraid.
They're all afraid.
That makes more sense.
Well, yeah, when we say afraid, what we think is it's like, well, if I do that to the Sabres, I sign Reinhart to an offer sheet, okay, and I pay him $6-7 million. That's 3 or 4 number ones, whatever it is. They're afraid that the next time they have somebody coming up, the Sabres are going to do that to them. And it's like, guess what, guys? It's not really a fraternity. You're trying to win.
Right.
These aren't your buddies, these GMs.
And especially when these GMs are terrified to make a trade.
Oh, I know.
You could avoid some of that by making a trade, but you have to get in the right situation. And the managers have to meet on the floor. And then the meetings in Tampa. And then we mentioned the cookie bake and the quilting bee. And now the draft floor is where it's done. And none of it's done. You want to make a trade, make a damn trade or don't.
Yeah, and then you leave it to free agency and people overpay like crazy.
They should have Montreal offer sheet Aho. That was a great move.
But it looked like a candy ass thing because what they offer sheeted Aho was such a low contract because they were worried about what they'd have to give back.
Right.
That Carolina laughed at him and paid Aho that.
Now, I'm just throwing this out here. You guys that have gone to Sabre games, especially in the old eye, is Aho an Aho?
No, that was Barraso's an Aho.
You guys remember that from the odd? The Maple Leaf fans would used to say, Barraso's an asshole.
You know what part of the problem was? It was some of the Sabre fans too, and then he went on to win 2 cups.
Yeah.
And we got Doug Bodger.
Yeah.
By the way, I was at one of the games where Bodger screwed up, and I screamed out, "For Tom Barrasso? You got to be kidding me!" Anyway.
Barrasso was not
an asshole.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
We regress, so we'll see what happens with that. We're still lingering here with this Jack Eichel thing and whatever. Again, I'm going to say I'd rather have him here, but we don't know because of speculation if indeed he is.
It's been 10 days since his agent said we're coming to a resolution on his neck injury, and that's 10 days, nothing. Now we've got to do the protected sheet by Saturday. Saturday at noon closes off all trades until next Thursday, the 22nd, at 1 p.m.
And as you astutely pointed out to me, you can't even peek. The managers cannot peek at the protected sheet for that whole week.
You can, and what the thing is that you're not allowed to look at your roster after you submit.
Right.
Actually, we're kidding. It's a joke, but
maybe
it's such a barn league. So
it really is.
So a lot of Sabre, we talked a couple of weeks ago when we were on about how, things are really heating up, and it started. Saturday is the protection sheet,
we
and
hope
then
so anyway. I mean, you hear this banter about, well, maybe we should get into the season and more things happen at the trade deadline.
That's true.
And then nothing happens at the trade deadline. We're sitting by listening to the yellow pages
all
at 2:55. There's still nothing.
Nothing. And, the thing is, too, about Reinhart, whatever happens to Jack, if Reinhart insists that he's only signing a 1-year contract, you probably got to trade him, because if you sign the 1-year deal and then you wait till the deadline, now you're sending a rental player out, probably not going to get an awful lot for him. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, this guy, Adam, Kevin Adams is really going to earn his pay in the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. He's got to.
He's got a lot going on.
I think he's got a plan.
Yeah, you too.
And I really do, and not because he's just a local kid, but
well, you've been blamed.
I've been blamed at every corner.
You just like local guys.
But I think he's got a plan, and he knows what the deal is with those guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One last thing with Risto, whether you want him, trade him, if you want to, he's in your plans, whatever. He cannot be protected.
No.
As one of the 3D.
He must. It's got to be. It's got to be Darlene Jokiharju and Will Borgen. Listen to me right here. If I see that sheet on Saturday and Will Borgen is left unprotected, he is gone to the Kraken, and I will not be happy.
No, and absolutely not. It's a young man's league. Risto is Risto. We've heard so much about He's a piece. He's an asset, and nothing ever happens.
No, he's not an asset. Nobody's willing to give up anything more than a third rounder for him.
Right.
And I'm speculating, but let's face it, if somebody offered more, they would have taken it. And so now we're stuck with this guy. Let him be the one guy that goes to the Kraken, and we keep everybody intact.
Right. Yeah, and I would make no side deals with the Kraken to take anybody.
No.
Sorry.
No.
And I'm not eating any of my players' contracts.
Nope. I agree.
I really don't want to take back crap. Like, say, Jack's involved in a trade and we got to take somebody back. Like, one thing was Adam Henrique. If it's a 2-year deal or something like that, fine, but no long-term baggage.
Yeah, don't take a 5.5-year deal for 6 years on an Adam Henrique. I mean, we can't play that game.
Right.
But on the other hand, there's limited landing spaces for Jack based on a $10 million contract.
Right.
So we're probably going to get some luggage back. Maybe even the goaltender in L.A., Quinn.
And then again, too, though, this is a 24-year-old kid, soon to be 25, who's a very, very good hockey player.
I think he's really superstar. To be honest.
I agree. And that's what very, very good. That's why
I got it.
And
I never knew how that worked out, but okay,
and
thanks.
yeah, he throws his head back in disgust. But
Because he wants to win.
like we've said before, these guys don't really know how to make a team good because they've already been taken to another team, and kind of what the move is here, right?
Yeah.
But Jack's probably...
He's not going to listen, Jack. You're not going to be traded to a contender because they don't have the money. So the bottom line is, you're going to Anaheim. You're going. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe he ends up in Minnesota or Vegas. But the point being, it's not like you're going to the Bruins or you're going to Colorado. They don't have the money. And by the way, I would never trade you.
No.
Anybody in the East.
That's the amazing thing too about Jack. Like, if you want to, you're going to have to do something wherever you go to help make that team win.
Right.
Why not here? I don't know. The neck, I don't think that's the stumbling block. That's going to work.
Why not
itself
here?
out.
I'll be very simple. I'll be very candid. As a player looking at it who's used to winning, he's like, I've been here and given everything I got for 5 years, and we stink.
Right.
And he's just saying, I don't need to do this anymore. And I do see that side. I do understand.
Oh, no doubt about
know?
it. Like I said, there'll be no hard feelings, but still, we have not won with them. So wherever he goes, unless it's like, say, Vegas, they're close.
Yeah.
A center like Jack might be the final piece.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
But again, close is important. I've said this before. If you look at hockey, it's not basketball. One guy doesn't do it. The Edmonton Oilers have probably the 2 top centers in the game, Drysdale and McDavid. McDavid probably the best player in the game, and they don't win.
Right.
It's a team game. You need goaltending. You need D. You need fourth lines.
The NHL does not protect its star
Stars.
players, especially in playoffs.
Yeah, there's
there's
maul 'em.
mugging and
So there's
can't
mauling
call
and-
it because there's only 2 minutes to
That's
go.
right.
There's second over.
So they are reduced to a third liner because they're being mauled and nothing's called.
Although I've said it on this channel many times before, Jack, I think, has got the size and strength for
He does battle
that
through
type
it,
of a
and
beating.
he gets a lot of he draws a lot of penalties.
But,
But we're gonna have to move on to current
yeah.
events before
Yeah.
we run out. So let's talk a little bit about Cuba,
Cuba.
the island of Cuba.
By the way, very silent. For all you, and I know our viewers, the ones that are left, aren't, but these socialists, it's great. Equality, spread the wealth. How well's it gone in some of these other places? Take a look at Cuba. They're protesting in the streets, and they're waving that American flag with pride.
Pride.
When our people here are terrified by it,
Yep.
will turn their back on it because it shows
Burn it.
racism and
Upside down. Yeah. Well, in Cuba, right, the people are protesting in the streets because there's no food, okay, there's no energy, there's no internet because they turned it off on them.
Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, sound familiar. And there's no vaccines. So they say, help us, America. By the way, this is not a recent plea for help. They've been getting on rickety boats trying to get to Miami for 50 years.
They don't really have toiletos.
No.
They're given each adult is given 5 eggs a month. Now, I don't like eggs, so you can have mine.
I'll have 10. But
that's one of the things. Their utilities are controlled, their power and such.
Yeah.
They're driving around in 57 Chevys. I would love to get my hands on one.
yeah, we would. They're
held
falling
together by
apart.
Elmer's glue, which if they're
They're
allowed to
duct
have
taped.
that,
Yeah.
it's a shithole. Socialism doesn't work.
Does not work.
And where's Bernie
Yeah.
and Sarah Covingtree, whatever the hell that dumbass's name is?
And AOC.
Where are they?
You don't hear anything about the uprising. And then what does Shitstick say? What does the cadaver in chief say? They caught him off guard, didn't have a cue card, and he said, Well, it's just the people's right in Cuba to protest against their government. There is no right in Cuba. The people protesting it will never be found alive again.
And some are missing now as we speak.
That's right.
Hey, they have a right. No, they don't, shitstick.
Because it's socialism, communism. And I'll tell you what, they had one lady on, they had her on, and she was doing a Zoom cast, and all of a sudden she said, the guards are outside. Next thing you know, her thing went blank, and she was taken.
Right.
They've never seen her again.
Right. All they saw was...
Is that what you want, Bernie?
That's right. And by the way, we're pulling out, and I think well-deserved, out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, I'll give Shitstick one little credit on this show.
Yeah.
And
we're in the morning. We're pulling out of Afghanistan after training 400,000 Afghan soldiers to defend themselves and free life.
Yeah.
And they're dropping their guns and running from shitheads in Toyota pickups.
They're running, and the ones that don't and put their hands up and they surrender were gunned down. Like the St. Valentine's Day massacre.
And the raping
the mob.
women. The women were actually allowed to wear clothes and such, which they should be. They're being attacked again. Where's Mary, my brother, in Minnesota?
Where's she?
Where's she? Because she compared our police and our military to Gestapo-like terrorists. Remember the one that said some people did something on 9/11?
Yeah. What about the French, Germans? How about some help? I am sick of being American. Now they're talking about Taiwan. We got to go in that little community along with the Japanese to protect them from China. I'm just done with saving the world. Where is Donald Trump?
And one quick thing with the CRT, the critical race, shove it up somebody's butt. You know, this critical
that could
race.
be painful.
You want to talk about an R word?
Yeah.
Bring back respect, and you'll solve a lot of problems. Now, Shitstick says, take some of the money out of the rescue police plan. And where was that months ago after he said our police were horrible and how black people fear for their lives going down the street? That's not true. And lastly,
I fear for my life going to Buffalo.
Those heroes in Dallas that boarded a plane out of Texas, jumped on a plane. Who paid for that?
Private charter. Yep.
Selfies all across, and they're in singing "We Will Overcome" to stop correction of voting fraud.
Yeah. To ask for ID. To say you can't vote 400 days a year. I know that's a joke.
They're cutting back on their time. How did we manage? I raised 5 kids, work nights.
Yep.
I voted on Tuesdays between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Yeah, well, that was hard, wasn't it?
What is there, 17 pre-days, and you can mail in.
Mail it in.
Have a buddy vote
I like
for
the drive-through. You go through a McDonald's, you get a burger, and then you drop off your vote.
Critical race theory,
this
bullshit.
Is insane.
And our teachers are teaching it, and it's crap. And I want to know, that 1619 they're talking about, I want to know what in the hell happened in 1107 here.
What happened in 1107?
Let's find out.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to look into that for our next show. What happened in 1107?
1619, right?
Right.
What happened in 1107? We didn't have any boats in 1619. Who were bringing them here?
The Brits brought them here.
Bloody hell.
But do we see any bloody hell and green teeth getting shot at? No. It's Americans about 1619.
And if you don't want to go to
I'm not rewriting our history.
No. You don't want to go to the Olympics and represent this country, be proud, stay the hell home, fund yourself.
That's right. Well, we've had a lot to say today.
Keep
it's been a
hope
2-week
on your
respite.
brains, not dope in your veins.
There you go. Seriously. Really, guys, we keep saying it. Read this stuff. Listen to this stuff.
Pay attention. Get to your school
the liberal
meetings.
media just literally wants to tell you everything's wonderful. And Shitstick's telling you it's the end of liberty and democracy. No, he's the end of liberty and democracy. They want socialism. Stop it now.
And these flags are the best on the planet. And everybody wants them. They're a beacon of hope.
Damn right.
Timmy!
Not Timmy
Good job
again.
in New York, Timmy.
Not,
Great job.
Not Timmy.